welcome. Now, for young researchers, for budding researchers in Africa, in third world nations, more often than not, we are faced with the challenge of being in our continent, being in our little corner, doing our best, but not meeting up with what the world is doing in a particular research area, in a particular field of study, in a particular interest. Now, there are also some other young persons who stay in Africa, who stay in Asia, who stay in some of the third world nations, and yet are competing favorably with their peers in America, in North America, in Canada, in Germany, in part of Europe. The difference between that young researcher that is not doing very well in his research field and the young one who is doing very well is the kind of information they get to find. And I know your mentors and professors tell you that if you want to stay current, you should attend conferences, you should get a mentor and all of that. Now, all of that is beautiful, it's very good. But we are now living in an age where the world has been interconnected to a very tiny, small village. Now, being a very tiny, small village, it means that you can access anybody, you can meet a professor that is several thousand miles away from your country, and you can get to benefit, you can get to get the best out of his knowledge, out of the things he shares, or his or her shares, and all of that. And so, what am I doing today for you? Today, I want to tell you, I want to show you how to be a young researcher in Africa, yet being able to connect with the world, being able to do all the beautiful things the world is doing in your specific research area. And I want to show you how you could use the role of X, former Twitter, and LinkedIn to be at the top of information in your specific research area. Now, Twitter, or what we call X, and LinkedIn are where professors, researchers, principal investigators, and people in academics gather. And when they gather, they share information. They share information on their research work. They share information on the number of students they're looking for. They share information on their conferences. They share information on the papers they just published and the rest. And so, how do you get to benefit from this information as a young researcher, as a growing researcher in the part of Africa that doesn't have access to this information? That's what I want to share with you today. And so I will show you how to use X and how to use LinkedIn for this purpose. And so, like as a young researcher, of course, it is no longer news that you should be on X and you should be on LinkedIn. Now, beyond just using it for frivolities and for news and information that doesn't profit much, you can use it to connect to researchers. You can use it to get information that keeps you in the current state of knowledge in your specific discipline. So let me show you how I use Twitter to be on top of the world, to be on the top of things, to be on the current state of knowledge in my specific discipline. I am a physicist and I am interested in photonics and optoelectronics, and I am interested in optical communication. And so each time I go to Twitter, I want to know what the world is doing in photonics. I want to know what the world is doing in optoelectronics. I want to know what the world is doing in optical communication. And so I want to go to Twitter, and when I get there, I want to simply type photonics and on my search button, and I will hit enter, and all the pieces of information and all the things the world is doing around photonics will begin to pop up, and I want to go to latest so that I get the most current information around photonics. Now, when this information pop up, what do? I want, if what pops up is a research group, I would follow the group. I would follow the communications in the group. If it is a professor that pops up, because when you do a search on Twitter, about 5 things will pop up. The top information will pop up. The latest information will pop up. Then people who are in this specific, who are mentioned around this specific search of yours would also pop. So you want to follow them. You want to follow this information. So let's begin from latest. And latest, I would find all the different pieces of discussion, information, and all the things people are doing around photonics. For example, this is something very interesting in photonics, and this is a research on photonics, and I want to see, it even gives me an insight to where I can go and find more information. So there's something like www.gophotonics.com. That is one place I can go to find a whole lot of information around the physics of photonics, and not just that, and companies who are into photonics and what they are buying and what they are doing and where they are going to. For example, this company is into fiber Bragg graphene and laser diodes for multiplexing and applications and the rest. And I want to see all the different pieces of information and what people are doing in the world of photonics. I want to see companies that are into photonics. I want to see research papers that are discussing photonics. This, for example, is shared by a Science News, and it is discussing mathematical techniques and their potential application in photonics. A very wonderful information for me that it is also free. I can simply download it and I have that information, which when I go through would give me the latest information around the world of research about what I am interested in. So there's information, there's news on photonics, and there is a research group called Hobner Photonics. I think they're somewhere in Germany, and plenty beautiful information that could keep me abreast of things around my research area. Now that is on the latest. Let me go to see people that are on photonics, people that are discussing photonics. These people are the persons I would want to follow. These persons would, these people would be those who have discussed photonics to a great extent in recent times. Maybe professors, maybe people, groups, research groups that are discussing different forms of photonics, and they are always there in every discipline. This is very beautiful information. And so somewhere here there is a Max Planck School of Photonics. I didn't know that before now, but by searching this, wow, this group, they are not just based in a university. They discuss just photonics alone, and following them would be a great deal of information. It would be a great deal of advantage for me. I also have this Silver Photonics, and they are into the world supply of customized compound semiconductor photonic devices. A very beautiful follow too. So I follow them still. And Effect of Photonics is another group. And there are plenty of such different groups that are into quantum photonics, nanophotonics, optoelectronics, and the rest of them. And of course, following them keeps me abreast of what is happening in my field of research. I've always said that if you're going to progress faster in academics, you need to always know what is in the current state of things. Because if you don't know the current state of things in your research, you would be researching amiss. You will be doing things that is far stale, things of you would not be in the forward direction, in the forward thinking of your particular field. And what distinguishes between scientists and between academics is who is discussing what the world is in need of at the moment. And Twitter, X, can be that beautiful space where you can get what the world is discussing in your particular field of endeavor. Another space where you could get what the world is doing, where the world is going to, is on LinkedIn. And so let me show you how to use LinkedIn to stay ahead of others, to stay ahead of your research, to know what is the current state of research, to know what the world is doing in your particular interest. And so I am on LinkedIn, and on LinkedIn I want to do a quick search on optoelectronics. Of course, I told you that I am a photonics physicist and an optoelectronics physicist. And so each time I come to LinkedIn or I go to Twitter, what I want to find is what the world is doing in my specific area of research. So I've searched optoelectronics, and I'll quickly get a search on what the world is doing around optoelectronics. Okay, so my search has just popped up, and I'm having beautiful things. I am seeing something very magnificent from a company, United States of Electronics Semiconductor Market Forecast, and of course that is an avalanche of information. I want to look at this too, exploring the optoelectronic properties of nanosystem using X-norm and PL spectroscopy. Wow, this is a wealth of information. If I open this, I'm going to get a whole lot of beautiful pieces of information, and I can also see where the market is going to, what the industry is doing around optoelectronics, and there are companies, there are research groups. This is an optoelectronic electronics research center. Of course, I need to follow this so that I can stay abreast of what people are doing around that interest. Now, beyond that, I have scientists who are also in the same body of knowledge, who are in the same field. Of course, following them would do me a whole lot of good. And there are groups here I can join, beautiful groups that are discussing different areas. Of course, they even have an optoelectronics research center at the University of Southampton, and I want to join that group. There are upcoming events on photoelectronics and plenty beautiful things. Now you notice that for each of them there is search all group results. I can click on this and I get to see some more. For people that are into optoelectronics and nano photonics, I can just click on this and I would find all of them. Or I can go somewhere here and I filter posts, or I filter people, or I filter schools, or I filter services. So let me filter, say, group that are discussing nanophotonics and optoelectronics. There are plenty of them. I can just click to join all of these beautiful groups, because of course joining them will do me good. Joining them would help me understand what other people around the world are doing in this particular interest. Of course, it could open me up to other professionals for which I can get collaboration, for which I can get research collaboration, or get jobs, or get so many things that are available. Being aware or having information could make all the difference in your particular interest. And so I'm done with groups. I want to look at people that are discussing optoelectronics, and there are plenty of them. And this is integrated photonics. This person is in Berlin, is in Germany. Of course, connecting with him would be a great do. There's a PhD researcher here who is in London South Bank University. There is a graduate research assistant here at North Carolina A&T who is into optoelectronics. There's a professor of physics here at the University of Miami and is into photoelectronics. So connecting with them, following them up, sending them mails could just make all the difference I need to make in my search or in my quest to make the difference in optoelectronics. And so I've just shown you how to use X, Twitter, and LinkedIn to be at the forefront, to be at the fore of what the people, or what the world, or what the global stage is discussing in your specific interest, in your specific research area. And this is applicable to all fields of knowledge. This video is particular for young scientists, for young researchers who want to be at the tier of what is happening in their specific field. Go try it out.